Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about quite an old Lego theme, quite a dead Lego theme at this point, but you know what, I kind of miss it. And this Lego theme is Aqua Raiders, as you can probably tell by the title and the thumbnail. But, not Aqua Raiders, Atlantis. Kind of bad that I'm already getting it confused. Now, Atlantis was a theme that came out in like 2011-ish, roughly, and it came with like a fair number of sets, nothing too major, and these waves were all really good. I don't know what happened to it, to be honest, because it could have been something great, but it just wasn't, and I don't know why. Well, I didn't know why. Because you see, I've been thinking about it quite a bit, and I've come to the conclusion that the reason why there is no longer an Atlantis is because of the time that it was released. Now, I only got one Atlantis set, and it was this one with the tiny submarine and the shark dude. But just from this one set, I loved the theme. It was something special. It's basically the main thing going on with it were the divers, whatever the fuck the organisation was called, I can't actually remember, it doesn't say it on this. We're looking for these like gem crystal things to open up, as you can probably guess, Atlantis. Now, obviously, couldn't have a Lego theme without some kind of opposition. So, which is why there were these sea creatures. Now, this is just a shark that came with the set, but they didn't all end up being sharks. You know, there were different things. There were octopuses, octopi, octopodes, whatever the fuck you want to call them, squids. They're the only ones that come to mind. But there was a lot more. I'll probably show on screen everything. And most of these would have moulded heads with some very nice printing on them, as you can see here, and again I'll show you on some other figures. And these were just brilliant. Like, the figures that they used were all great, even like the more human ones. Like, even the more human ones like this, they'd have these different things on them. But, you know, if you look at the torso printing, if I drop the torso printing, you can see that it's quite detailed. And it was just brilliant. I don't know what happened to it. I don't know why it left. I think it just lived its span. But I think it could have been another thing like Ninjago, where it goes on for way longer than it was intended to. But the time that it was released was just so awkward for it. Because if you think about it, 2011, 2012, that time, they were doing, well, Lego were doing all of these different, like, big themed things. There was the Harry Potter stuff, Pirates of the Caribbean, Star Wars was being brought back, the Avengers were being brought out next year, as well as the DC superheroes. There was everything. You know, it was the year of, like, licensed themes. And I think that's kind of what killed it. As well as Ninjago being around then, like, just coming out, I think it just kind of outcompeted itself. Similar to Monkey Kid and Hidden Side. Both sets, dispute Hidden Side all you will, they all had very interesting themes. Monkey Kid had some really good, nice sets. They were just a little bit overpriced. And Hidden Side, they just kind of messed everything up a little bit by focusing too much on the app, which most of the time didn't work. So I think that's kind of how they died. I'll do separate videos talking about them though. But with Atlantis, it was just a good playable theme. Like, it had great builds that looks nice and had quite a few nice play features from what I can remember. Again, I mentioned figures, they were all really nice. There were like a variety of sets, and I just think that Lego messed up the theme because of the time that they did it. Like, if it was now, or like even like over the past 5 or so years, it could have been this it could have been this brilliant thing that like was a part of Lego's main category, because they have some really interesting ideas for underwater builds, as we've seen with Atlantis, Aqua Raiders, even just some things where they've gone underwater like Ninjago, even like the Star Wars Gungan sets. You know, they have really high potentials to do some brilliant builds, but they just don't do it. Now, some people may argue that Atlantis wasn't very good, but in my opinion, it needed to come back at least. It needed to live longer. It was so good. It was just disappointing that it couldn't last. So, that was my fanboy thing over Atlantis, and I'm gonna end this video here. Give me your opinions for the theme. Tell me if you think they should bring it back in the comments. I would love to hear it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!